Hey up everyone, I'm back again. Just wanted to do a quick comparison video between the HTC Desire 500 and the Moto-G. As I've said in the previous video, they both have a very similar form factor about them. Both of them are primarily made of like a plasticky type of material. I think the Moto-G feels a little bit more solid, however, but the HTC is not far off in terms of how it feels. They both have a similar type of form factor. They're both quite pocketable and easy to use. You can get your thumb around them quite easily. They do have slightly different size screens. The HTC Desire 500 comes with a 4.3 LCD screen, and the Moto-G is 4.5. So there is a slight difference in the screen size, but the overall form factor is about the same. I think it's just that HTC have put its logo on the front and these capacitive buttons which take up some space. The cameras are in this similar type of position, but the one on the Desire 500 is 8 megapixel camera with auto flash, and the one on the Moto-G is a 5 megapixel. So I was expecting some good things from the HTC Desire in terms of the camera. We'll have a look at that a bit more later. But as you can see, they have different speaker placements. The one on the Desire 500 is at the bottom and is quite a large speaker grill, whereas the one on the Moto-G is at the top and it's quite smaller. The back covers are both replaceable, but you can only expand the storage on the HTC. It's very difficult to get the back cover off on the HTC due to some poor design decisions, in my opinion. Not allowing you to access the back without really getting your finger in. But the Moto-G is a bit easier, although it is very stiff to get the back off sometimes. You can just put your thumb in the USB port to get it off. There is one difference in regards to the screen flushness, in that the Desire 500's is slightly raised, whereas the Moto-G's, as you can see, sits flush, which I think is possibly not the best design decision by HTC. I did think it was a fault or something at first, but it seems to be the way it's been built. However, the HTC does have quite nice volume rocker, which goes all the way around the device for the volume up and volume down, and has its power button placed on the top again, which isn't so much a problem as the HTC One, because it's quite a small device, so you can get your finger up there. Moto-G has some very plasticky buttons on the side, but I think the power button is in a better place. So in regards to the actual screens, they're both LCD screens, so they both offer quite nice viewing angles as well as brightness. They're both well, the Moto-G is a 720p screen, whereas the HTC is a 480 by 800 screen. So I'd say that the text etc. appears a bit more crisp on the Moto-G, and you can read pages in overview quite easily, whereas on the HTC Desire 500 you may struggle to make out some text when you're in the overview on the page, but because it's quite a smaller screen size, it isn't so much of a problem. The Moto-G offers excellent viewing angles from most aspects for such a budget device. As you can see, the screen doesn't really wash out very much when you look at it from the sides, and in my opinion is much better for that aspect than the Nexus 5, which does wash out. I think the screen on the Desire 500 is a particular high point of the device. To me it has the same kind of quality as the HTC One, albeit with a lower resolution. It's very vibrant. I think it's LCD2, so or SLCD3. So it's got very punchy colours like AMOLED, and the blacks are quite deep as well. Don't know if you can make that out on the camera, but it's quite hard to distinguish between the black phone and the notification blackness. It's very deep and high contrasty, and offers excellent outdoor visibility. So the screen on the Desire 500 I think is just a little bit better than the moto-g, although they are both excellent in that respect. In regards to the performance of the devices, the moto-g offers a quad-core Snapdragon 400 clocked at 1.2 GHz, which is an A7 architecture, whereas the HTC Desire 500 has a quad-core 1.2 Snapdragon 200 processor with an A5 architecture. So in terms of raw performance, the moto-g is more advanced. They are both quad-core, but the A7 architecture versus the A5 is much more powerful. But in day-to-day usage, they're both very snappy and fast to respond. I think I have noticed some noticeable lags when pulling down the notification tray now and again on the Desire 500, as well as going into apps quite quickly now and again and coming out of them, multitasking. They do both benefit from 1 gig of RAM though, so better than the Xperia E1 in that respect. But there are some significant slowdowns on the HTC Desire 500 compared to the moto-g, which is extremely fast and smooth, and to me feels as fast as a Galaxy S4 or something like that. However, Sense does do a good job of keeping things running quite smoothly on the Desire 500. And no doubt if TouchWiz or something like that was on it, it would suffer very worse performance. In regards to the internal storage, you've got 8 gigs on this particular moto-g, but it does come in 16 gig variant as well. And the HTC Desire comes with 4 gigs internal storage with a micro SD for expandability. The moto-g is getting a revision brought out so that they're bringing out one with 4G and micro SD, so it will be superior in that aspect. But for now, they both have their strengths and weaknesses in regards to that. In regards to the battery life of the moto-g is 2000 mAh battery, which is tried and tested and offers probably the best battery life for a budget phone. I think that the battery life is near to what I used to get with my old Galaxy Note 2, whereas on the Desire 500 it's I'd say more average. It's not going to last the day if you have everything on, in my opinion, and you're using it heavily. However, if you do use it like in a moderate fashion with auto brightness, then it should see you through the day. However, it is a bit anemic at 1800 mAh. I think HTC could have stuffed a bigger battery in there just to make it comfortably last. In regards to the cameras, both cameras are capable of taking decent pictures for Facebook as well as Instagram and things like that, but they obviously aren't special or anything. I'd say that the camera on the Desire 500 offers more options in regards to customizing the picture. However, there is quite an annoying bug on the Desire 500 with the camera, in that whenever you open it, it seems to flip itself upside down, and then you'd expect it to go back to normal when you orient it, but it doesn't do it automatically, so you have to come out of it and then go back into it again, which make it orientate itself again. So that's quite an annoying bug, which will hopefully be fixed by a software update. But as you can see, it's done it again. But in regards to the features, the Desire 500 does have more options in that you can set different modes, such as night mode, HDR, anti-shake, different scenes as well. You can also do slow motion video. It does support video recording up to 720p. However, I found the video recording to be quite disappointing. I think that it's probably due to the processor, which is probably not able to handle it as well as it could do. If I just show you an example. You can see it's struggling to do the video quite smoothly, and autofocus leaves a lot to be desired as well. So I was quite disappointed with the autofocus and the general quality of the video on the Desire 500. I thought it would be superior to the moto-g, as the moto-g only has a 5 megapixel camera. But video recording on the moto-g is vastly superior. It's smooth and there's no issues with it. But it's not the highest of quality, and I think pictures are still a little bit better on the Desire 500. But I think this bug in regards to it flipping itself upside down, as well as the slow video recording, just makes the moto-g the better camera device at the moment. Obviously you do have a few other settings you can also change on the Desire 500, such as the ability to set different it's really not having it, is it? It just keeps flipping itself every time I try and change which way it is. Let's try and go back into it again. Yeah, so you can actually put different filters on, such as sepia, grayscale, etc. And you can actually adjust the effect as well. But I don't think these things can make up for the poor camera experience on the phone. I think hopefully that HTC will fix it through a software update. But speaking on software, I think that the moto-g is far better in terms of that at the moment. The operating system runs the latest KitKat software, which is benefits from Project Svelte and printing and all that. So you know, it really helps with the speed of the device and compatibility of everything. Whereas on the Desire 500, you're still on Android 4.1, which is a shame really to release a device in this modern era with such old software. It does have Sense version 5.0, which does help the performance a bit, but it would obviously benefit from Project Svelte and things like that. Hopefully HTC will update the device and not abandon it. Yeah, I think that about covers it in terms of software and hardware. In regards to sound quality from the speaker, you can just do a little test, see how that sounds. This is the Desire 500. So as you can see, it's quite average. It's not the loudest sounding device, and unfortunately beats doesn't take effect through the speaker, so the key selling point really only takes effect through the headphones. Let's try the moto-g. Oh, hang on. moto-g is having a bit of an issue. I don't know if that was a bit of lag, but we'll just try and get up again. That's strange. For some reason it won't let me increase the volume. Let's try doing it from the settings. No, won't let me do it at all. That's a shame. Oh well, it seems that the Desire 500 wins there by default, although I have actually done the speaker test already on the moto-g, and I can categorically say that it does sound louder through this little speaker compared to the Desire, which is very strange, but yeah, I think I'll have to have a look into that. But in regards to the GPS signal strength, we can have a look at that. So both are set to high accuracy. So it looks like to me the moto-g wins this, as it seems to be more accurate and has discovered more satellites. So yeah, that's another one for the moto-g. So yeah, I think that about covers it. I think that unless you're a die-hard HTC fan, the moto-g still offers a better value for money and better performance. There are some things on the Desire 500 which do set it apart, such as the excellent screen, slightly better camera modes and things like that. But I think there's too many compromises with the device to consider it over the moto-g, particularly in regards to the battery, the terrible camera bugs and video recording, and the very old software that was released on the device. But if you can look past all that, then I'm sure that it would still be quite a decent phone, which I think can be got for about 150 quid now. And the moto-g obviously is about £100 for the 8 gig model. So before I do go, a user by the name of Mr. Lucas asked me to see how Real Racing 3 was on the Xperia E1, which I have here. So I just wanted to show him an issue which I've encountered with it, unfortunately, and that's due to the low internal storage. So when you go to download the game, it comes up with this. The device doesn't have enough storage to put on the device, so unfortunately I won't be able to install it and show you the performance of it. I guess this just shows you the importance of having the ability to install things on the micro SD straight away, and how poor it is to bring out a device with only 4 gigs internal storage. But yeah, sorry about that, but I think it's not going to be able to handle it at the moment. But in regards to this comparison video, I hope you enjoyed it and found it informative. If you did, please subscribe or like the video, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.